It's Creech, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you some basic tips for beginners that you can use to improve your drums. I know when I first started out making beats, my drums were terrible. I mean, everything's terrible when you start, but my drums especially were terrible. Something to keep in mind though is that when you are new to something, I guess everything is hard before it is easy. Some of it is just practice. And you'll get better over time, and you just have to be patient. It's just how some things are. So don't get too discouraged. But I'm going to show you 3 tips that I came up with that I kind of struggled with. So the first thing is going to be sound selection. I'm using FL Studio, which comes with, I think, like the Legacy pack and stuff like that, stock. Whichever DAW you're using probably comes with some stock drums. These are not going to sound great, especially for like trap music or whatever, which is what I'll assume you're making, just because that's what I do. The sounds aren't very good. So the first thing I would say is to go get some free drum kits. There are a ton of them out there. Every drum kit you see here is free. Many of these drum kits are on my channel where you can download them. So that's the first tip, is I would just go get like a bunch of drum kits. I mean, obviously make sure to kind of listen to them and make sure they sound good. I've got a ton of drum kits on here that I never use also. So you're definitely going to download some that you'll use a lot initially, or maybe you'll never use. So sometimes you just need to go out and look for some drums. Drums can also help with inspiration and stuff. If you get beat block, sometimes you just need some different sounds that kind of get you going. So the second tip is, which I'm going to show you here, is just to get back to the basics. And really what that means is to learn about the timing. Within FL Studio here, as you can see within the piano roll, and I'm sure this goes for any DAW, there are all these lines and shit. Basically, you got to learn vaguely at least what these mean. You've got like one bar here, and then the bar is then split with increasing lines of like increasing darkness, or decreasing, I guess, as you're getting smaller. And then it goes to like 1/4 and then 1/8, and you can scroll in some, actually you have to change the step, and you get the 1/16. And so basically you want to have everything quantized, or if it's not quantized, you want to have pretty close. A lot of times people like to kind of offset them just barely. I think you can do that with like the swing function right here in the channel rack, just to give it a more natural feel. But if you are making like trap or EDM, you probably want everything to be like perfectly quantized. And so just learn things like, always have the snare at a half bar. And if we go over to the hi-hats are where a lot of people struggle, I think. So over here I just have a basic 8th note pattern. If I could play it, it's literally just like a straight 8th note. Well, a lot of people just try to do way too much, and there's nothing wrong with just having no rolls, no crazy pitch changes or anything like that. But you can still kind of keep it simple, but do like little things. Like there's just a slight roll here, and it hits like right before the snare. That's something that is kind of basic that can sound really good too. So that's where I would start if you're just starting out making beats, or you don't happy with how your beats are sounding. I would start with very basic drum patterns, and then if the drums are the issue, and obviously you can focus more on melodies from there. So the third tip, this might sound kind of contradictory to what I was just saying, but it's really not, and that is to just try new things and play around. So trying new things can mean a lot. It can mean going back to the first tip I said, where trying to get just some different sounding drums. Sometimes I'll get like weird, like this. I have one in here. I have one in here that's like a vaporwave drum kit that I got, and just do random stuff like that, stuff from different genres or subgenres, whatever, to get you some different sounds, and that way you can stick with kind of similar patterns, but then have a different feel and a different vibe to it. And while it's good to use some basic rules, you also don't want to have like the exact same pattern every time. So for the fourth tip, I would say listen to a lot of the music that you listen to, or that you're kind of trying to emulate, in the genre that you're in. This might sound bad at first, but essentially copy that at first. If you've never made a beat before, a great place to start is to literally just like copy a song that you like, to kind of see how that song was put together, just kind of the sound design features. Obviously, I'm not saying to, rip someone's beat and then go try to sell it, but try to copy some little things here and there from music that you like to listen to, that you think sounds good, and try to move that into your music, sometimes in a very direct way at first, and then just so you can teach yourself how to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And the main takeaway really from this video is that sometimes it just takes time. I started making beats in 2016, and my beats, still aren't great. It really just does take a lot of work and practice. It's not really all that different from like playing a traditional instrument or something like that, where I think somehow people think that making music on a computer is so much easier, but it's really not that different. I initially planned on also going into 808s in this video, but I decided against it just because it really does deserve its own video. So I might make something around that in the future. But yeah, there are really two parts, I guess, that you can focus on, and that's your drums and your melody. And really 808s fall into more of the melody category, where you have to worry more about what notes you're playing, whereas obviously with a drum you can change the pitch of the samples, but it's more to get to, it's kind of static. So that's pretty much it. In conclusion, you can get new drum sounds. I'm always adding sounds to my library. I mean, this isn't that big. It's also good to kind of clear out some stuff that you're not using, just so there's not too much. And you want to learn just the basic drum patterns to start you off at first, and then from there you've got to be able to kind of do your own thing, which most of the time will just take practice. That's pretty much it for today's video. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please consider liking or commenting and subscribing. If there's another tutorial or anything else you want to see related to beat making, please let me know in the comments down below.